Hey, what's up? And welcome back to A to Zeke Sports. In today's video, we will be looking at the NBA, a recap of the NBA free agency and who I think going into the season has the best chance to win. And so let's get into it. There's a couple of teams I'm going to look at today because they made the biggest moves. And I'm going to start off with the Lakers. If you've been following the NBA, then you've probably heard about their offseason signing. So definitely going into the season, even without these signings, they're probably still the best team after they won the NBA championship in the NBA bubble. And so they only had about 70 days in between the end of their season and the start of this season. And they made some really big signings. First off, re-signing LeBron James to an $85 million deal for 2 years, and they also signed Anthony Davis to 5 years for $190 million, which is actually the max contract. And so they re-signed their two big superstars, and those two, of course, were the main reason why they won the championship in the first place. They did lose Rajon Rondo as a free agent over the offseason. He signed with the Hawks, so his time with the Lakers, especially in the playoffs, was amazing. He did really well, and he was making really good plays like we saw on a younger version of Rajon Rondo making. So he looked really good, so that was a little bit of a loss, but they were able to sign Marc Gasol, who really is coming off two spectacular seasons with the Toronto Raptors. He won a championship with them and also made some good plays in the postseason with them. And so he's probably going to still be a very good impact player. They did sign Montrezl Harrell, who won the Sixth Man of the Year with the Clippers. He was expected to re-sign with the Clippers and keep that strong core with Kawhi and Paul George together, but instead he signs with the Lakers, which got some people very upset, and he most likely will be a starter on this team because he's playing very well. He won Sixth Man of the Year last year, like I said. The Lakers did lose Dwight Howard in free agency after his 1-year deal with them, and they traded away JaVale McGee. So it's good that they signed Gasol because they lost two of their big men. They did sign Wesley Matthews, who plays power forward or small forward from the Bucks. So that was a little bit of a loss for the Bucks, actually, as some of their key players might be going away. Giannis Antetokounmpo, one of the best players in the league for the Bucks, he could be departing as a free agent from them soon. We haven't had any news from him yet. And also, the biggest moves, the rising star Dennis Schroeder for the OKC Thunder has been traded away for Danny Green, and so the Lakers acquired him, and so they're getting an actual point guard. They really haven't had that. LeBron had really been their primary point guard, even though he stands at 6'8". They didn't really have a real point guard that they really started out there, but I think Schroeder gives that to them. So if they have LeBron, Schroeder, Anthony Davis, Harrell, and Gasol on the floor at the same time with some key players like Kyle Kuzma and Wesley Matthews coming in off the bench, and also Giannis Antetokounmpo's little brother, Kostas Antetokounmpo. He's only 23, and he has a very good potential as he's coming into the league. We could see him getting some minutes. He did play in the preseason game against the Clippers. I'll let you know about my reactions to that a little later in the video. Looking at the Clippers, they didn't really make any offseason moves in terms of acquiring other players. They did re-sign Paul George. He signed a 5-year, $190 million deal like Anthony Davis with the Clippers. And so looking at what their lineup's going to be after they lost Montrezl Harrell, they're definitely still going into the season one of the better teams in the league with their duo. They still got Patrick Beverly. He's a great point guard, and they did sign Serge Ibaka, who was playing very well with the Raptors. But I do think the Lakers kind of built on their advantage over the Clippers and still will be the best team in LA and definitely still the best team in the league. Looking at their preseason game, LeBron or Anthony Davis, neither of them played in the preseason game, but Kawhi Leonard and Paul George played for the Clippers, and the Lakers still got it done. The starters that they played out there look phenomenal. So it's mostly their bench, and the Clippers played a lot of the players that will be in the regular rotation, but the Lakers didn't do as much of that, and they still won. They won 87-81, and so they look very good. So definitely the Lakers will be the team to beat this season. But there are some challengers I'm going to be looking at right here. So the 76ers did trade. They did get Danny Green from OKC in a trade. So Danny Green was traded from the Lakers to the Thunder, and then from the Thunder to the 76ers. And they acquired Dwight Howard from the Lakers in free agency, but they did lose Al Horford, who is a phenomenal defensive player. So while gaining Dwight Howard is good, it also hurts. They lost Dwight Howard. And then looking at the Suns, who were one of the most spectacular teams to watch in the NBA return, they went 8-0 in the games that they played, and they did sign Chris Paul, who is still one of the best point guards in the league, from the OKC Thunder, and also they signed Jay Crowder, who played well with the Heat in their run to the NBA Finals. Of course, the Heat lost to the Lakers, but it was interesting to see that Jay Crowder will now be playing on another team. He's really bounced around with a lot of teams, the Grizzlies, the Jazz, and the Heat, and now here with the Suns. And so, really, I could see the Suns making the playoffs this year. They've still got DeAndre Ayton, and then Devin Booker, who has one of the best three balls in the game. He's really starting to heat up now. This might be some of his prime years here with the Suns. And so they will definitely be someone to watch in this season. And then what you guys have probably heard about, if you've been keeping up with it. If you haven't, that's okay. But the Wizards and the Rockets made a big trade. So Russell Westbrook, he was playing well with the Rockets and James Harden. I was kind of surprised they didn't let this play out, the James Harden Russell Westbrook combination for the Rockets. But they traded Russell Westbrook to the Wizards for John Wall. So on paper, that it looks like the Rockets lost this trade. Of course, Russell Westbrook's a better player than John Wall. But the Rockets did acquire some draft picks, which I think they really need. They've always had like these star players in the last couple of years. They had Chris Paul with James Harden, and then Russell Westbrook with James Harden. But then they need a little more to build around that for what they want, because they've really been consistent. They've made it about to the second round every year these last 4 years. But they feel like they'd be able to get more with James Harden, who could be, his time with the Rockets could be coming to an end soon. But it looks like they're going to try to make this work for a year and see where it goes. They will probably be sticking with their small ball lineup. They really don't start a center, the Rockets don't, for their lineup. So it'll be interesting to see that and how John Wall plays with James Harden. And then definitely you're going to watch out for the Nets, who went 35-37 with their first year with Kyrie Irving. Kevin Durant will be taking the floor for them. He missed all of last season with an injury, but he's recovered, and so the Nets will be a team to watch in the East. And so I'd probably say the Lakers definitely, they have a chance to win 1 or 2 or maybe 3 championships, probably only 2, because LeBron has 2 years left with the Lakers. And so that's about it for this video. Please like and subscribe to A to Z Sports if you're not subscribed already. Let me know in the comments section what you think and who you think has the best chance to win the NBA championship. Thank you guys so much for watching, and that's it from A to Z Sports.